Hello and welcome, I'm Kate Scrivener. I originally started this video like 2 hours ago because I was like, it's in Britain. It will have already happened. Didn't happen. So I have some more time to think about it. I want Pearl. I want Invisible Hearts. And I want If You Survive Me. And other ones, probably. I haven't read anything. I had great plans to read the long list. And then the long list came out and I was not that enthused. And I was very tired and I got distracted by the Giller Prize. So there will be videos on the Giller Prize, which is the Canadian contemporary of the Booker, which I'm really excited about. There's some good books on it and I like the Giller. Some of them speak really intensely to me as a Canadian and the ways in which, like, even if it's not my own experience, there's like the resemblance of that, which is the only Canadian book on the long list of the Giller this year is The Study of Obedience, which is not pulling me forward. Let's see what is on this list. I don't have the same horse in the race as I normally do, but I really don't want the other Eden to get in just because of the based on, like, it really just hits me as white man writing about black things. I've heard really good recommendations of it. I'm just not convinced. I won't have probably the reaction that's the most exciting, but I am excited to find this out. Okay. I also think The Bee Sting and The Prophet Song, I heard a bunch of those. Even the books from last year's list that I did not read, I felt so connected to and like, just so amazing. So yeah, I just don't have strong opinions about really any of these. I also really want A Spell of Good Things to get on here. I really hope for that. So
together, they leave us with a multi-layered portrait of what it means to be alive today. What each title does so beautifully, and utterly after its own fashion, is show us that, no matter the outcome, the human journey is always one of resilience. And so the shortlist for the Booker Prize 2023 is Study for Obedience by Sarah Bernstein.
It was chosen.
This is an absurdist, darkly funny novel about a woman arriving in an unnamed town where her ancestors have been persecuted. The locals increasingly appear to fear her, and in strange, almost dreamlike scenes, she's made to feel more and more dangerously her state as an outsider.
This is also on the Giller Prize, so I feel like I have to read it. I have it on hold at the library, so maybe I'll love it. I do like the kind of weird, too intense kind of books, and even though I didn't like Cursed Bread, I had so many thoughts about Cursed Bread, and this feels like the Cursed Bread similarity.
Bernstein's urgent, beautiful prose upsets all of our expectations, and what transpires is a meditation on survival itself. If I Survive You by Jonathan Escoffery.
Yay! I'm excited for this one.
In Escoffery's astonishingly assured debut, husband and wife Santa flee from the troubles of 1970s Jamaica to create a new life in Miami with their sons Delano and Trelawney. In the laugh-out-loud code switching of the recently arrived, they attempt to survive America and each other as the reader is confronted with the immigrants' eternal questions.
She's a good
Who am I
voice
now,
for
and
reading.
where do I belong? This Other Eden by Paul Harding.
Okay. I don't think I'll be reading it.
On an almost nearly forgotten history, Paul Harding's lovely hymn transports us to the hardscrabble colony of Apple Island off the coast of Maine, a community descended from previously enslaved Africans, Irish immigrants, and indigenous peoples. The arrival of a well-intentioned preacher brings with it the unwelcome attention of the world at large, with catastrophic ends. We were moved by the delicate symphony of language in which Harding tells the story of the islanders. Prophet Song by Paul Lynch.
I'm really hoping this one. I know that Scott from Gunpowder Plot and Fiction talked about the fact that this is not a very dyslexic friendly book, and as someone who has dyslexia, I'm sure it would be terrible to read, but I do hope to read the audiobook. I guess there is no audiobook. I think that's what he brought up. So, I don't know. I do find that the plot really, really appealed to me. It is one of the books that appeal to me most. So, hopefully there becomes an audiobook because it's shortlisted, and then I get to enjoy it.
Paul Lynch's harrowing and dystopian Prophet Song vividly renders a mother's determination to protect her family as Ireland's liberal democracy slides inexorably and terrifyingly into totalitarianism. It is timely and unforgettable, and it compellingly captures the social and political anxieties of our moment. Western Lane by Chetna Maru.
I keep on forgetting that the books that I'm excited about. This is the book that I think I really wanted to get. The idea of this intense book about grief and family and all of these things. It's not widely available, but it is a book that sounds like it's going to be my piece of heaven when I finally get it. I doubt I'll get to this book before November, but I would really like to pick it up. And I would be really happy to have this win. Last year and the year before, there was no availability. The books were not published in Canada until after the prize was announced. And that was The Seven Moons as well as The Promise. And they're both books that really appealed to me and then I didn't get to read. And I hoped that they would win and they won. So maybe this is another book that I won't be able to read, but I will be gunning for.
Skillfully using the sport of squash as both framework and metaphor.
Which I do love.
Western Lane is a deeply evocative debut of a family grappling with grief, conveyed through crystalline language which reverberates like the sound of, quote, a ball hit clean and hard with a close echo. It is stunning and it stays with you. The Bee Sting by Paul Murray.
I know this was well loved.
Set in the Irish Midlands, Paul Murray's saga, The Bee Sting, brilliantly explores how our self-deceptions ultimately catch up with us. This family drama, told from multiple perspectives, is at once hilarious and heartbreaking, personal and epic. So thank you all again for coming.
I'm actually quite happy with this shortlist. I feel like this is a shortlist that will appeal to me much more than the long list. And that is A Study for Obedience, I Survive You, The Other Eden, Prophet Son, Western Lane, and The Bee Sting. I feel like I could read all of these. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to read The Other Eden, but I could read the other 5 and really like them. So this makes me actually hopeful. I do hope that I will have read some of these so that when the prize is announced in November that I will be able to be ebullient or devastated, depending on what wins or loses. And yeah, let me know how you've been following along, if you're enjoying the prize, if you love the prize, if you think it's silly, if you're disappointed, if you're still angry that some books didn't make it. I would love to hear all of your thoughts.